Welcome, students. Today's topic for discussion is money market, which is a very important part of our financial system. To understand this lecture in full, it is important that you would have attended my previous lectures on Indian financial system. After attending this lecture, the student shall be able to describe money market, its features and structures, describe various sub-markets of money markets, describe participants in money markets, explain problems of Indian money market and suggested reforms for the same. Money market is the market for short-term funds. We define short-term as a period of 364 days or less. In other words, the borrowing and repayment takes place in 364 days or less. The manufacturers need two types of finance. Finance to meet daily expenses like purchase of raw material, payment of wages, excise duty, electricity charges, and finance to meet capital expenditure like purchase of machinery, installation of pollution control equipment, construction of building, etc. The first category of finance is invested in the production process for a short period of time. The market where such short-term finance is borrowed and lent is called money market. Almost every concern in the financial system, be it financial institution, business firm, a corporation, or a government body, has a recurring problem of liquidity management, mainly because of the timing of the expenditure rarely synchronizes with that of the receipts. The most important function of money market is to bridge this liquidity gap. Thus, business and finance firms can tide over this mismatch of cash receipt and cash expenditure by purchasing or selling the shortfall of surplus of funds in the money market. In simple words, the money market is an avenue for borrowing and lending for short-term funds. While on one hand, the money market helps in shifting the vast sums of money between banks, on the other hand, it provides a means by which the surplus of funds of cash-rich corporations and institutions can be used at a cost by banks. Corporations and other institutions which need short-term money, a supplier of funds to the money market can be virtually anyone with a temporary access funds. The government bonds, corporate bonds, bonds issued by banks are example of money market instruments, where the instrument has a ready market like the equity shares of a listed company. The money markets refer to market for short-term securities such as treasury bills, certificates of deposits, commercial papers, etc. Money market instruments are more liquid in nature. Money market has some important features, distinctive features. One, money market has no geographical constraint as that of stock exchanges. The financial institutions dealing in monetary assets can be spread over a wide geographical area. Even though there are various centers of money markets such as Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, etc., there are no separate independent markets but are interlinked and interrelated. It relates to all dealings in money or monetary assets or near money assets. It is a market of purely short-term funds, and it is not a single homogeneous market. There are various sub-markets such as call money market, bill market, etc. Money market establishes a link between RBI and banks and provides information of monetary policies and management. Transactions can be done even without the help of brokers, and there are a variety of instruments which can be traded in the money market. Now let us have a look at the structure of Indian money market. Broadly speaking, the money market in India comprises of two sectors, that is organized sector and unorganized sector. The organized sector consists of RBI, the State Bank of India with its 7 associates, 20 nationalized commercial banks, other scheduled and non-scheduled commercial banks, foreign banks, regional rural banks, etc. It is called organized because its uh, this part is systematically coordinated by RBI. Then non-banking financial institutions such as LIC, GIC and subsidiaries, the UTI also operate in this market but only indirectly through banks and not directly. Quasi-government bodies and large companies also make their short-term surplus funds available to the organized market through banks. Cooperative credit institutions occupy intermediary position between organized and unorganized parts of the Indian money market. These institutions have a three-tier structure. At top, there are state cooperative banks. At the local level, there are primary credit societies and urban cooperative banks, considering the size, methods of operation, and dealings with RBI. And commercial banks, only state and central cooperative banks should be included in the organized sector. The cooperative societies at the local level are not are loosely linked with it. So and then the unorganized sector consists of indigenous banks, money lenders. It is unorganized because activities of this part are not directly coordinated by RBI. The money lenders operate throughout the country but without any link amongst themselves. Indigenous banks are somewhat better organized because they enjoy a discount facility from the commercial banks, which in turn have link with RBI. But this type of organization represents only a loose link with the RBI. Indian money market is divided into a number of sub-markets. Let's discuss them one by one. Call money market. The It is the most important component of organized market, and it deals in call loans or call money granted for 1 day to 15 days normally. And since the participants in the call money market are mostly banks, it is also called interbank call money market. The banks with temporary deficit of funds from the demand side and banks with temporary excess of funds from the supply side in this market. The next is the treasury bill market. The treasury bill market deals in treasury bills which are short term, that is from 91 days, 82 days, or maximum 364 days. Liability of the government of India. Theoretically, these bills are issued to meet the short term financial requirements of the government. But in reality, they have become a permanent source of funds to the government. Every year, a portion of treasury bills are converted into long term bonds. And treasury bills are normally of two types, that is ad hoc and regular. Ad hoc treasury bills are issued to the state government, semi-government departments, and foreign central banks. They are not sold to the banks and the general public and are not marketable. Whereas the regular treasury bills are sold to the banks and public and are freely marketable. Both types of ad hoc and regular treasury bills are sold by RBI on behalf of central government. The T-bill market in India is much underdeveloped in comparison to uh, USA or the UK. Now let's have a look at the other market, that is the commercial bill market. Commercial bill market deals in commercial bills issued by firms engaged in business. These bills are generally of 3 months maturity. A commercial bill is the promise to pay a specified amount in a specified period by the buyer of goods to the seller of goods. The seller who has sold his goods on credit draws the bill and sends it to the buyer for acceptance. After the buyer or his bank writes the word accepted on the bill, it becomes a marketable instrument and is sent to the seller. The seller can now sell the bill, that is, get it discounted to his bank for cash. In times of financial crisis, the bank can sell the bills to other banks to get them discounted from RBI. In India, the bill market is underdeveloped, and as compared to same in advanced countries like UK, there is absence of specialized institutions like acceptance houses and discount houses, particularly dealing in acceptance and discounting business. The next is the collateral loan market. Collateral loan market deals with collateral loans, that is the loans backed by securities. In the Indian collateral loan market, the commercial banks provide short-term loans against government securities, shares, and debentures of the government sector. Then we have a certificate of deposit in commercial paper markets. Certificate of deposit and commercial paper markets deal with certificate of deposit and CPs. These two instruments were introduced by RBI in India in March 1989 in order to widen the range of money market instruments and give investors greater flexibility in deployment of their short-term surplus funds. Now let us have a look at the participants in the money market. There are a large number of borrowers and lenders who make up the money market, and some of them we have listed here. So first in that in is central government. The central government is a borrower in the money market through the issue of T-bills. The T-bills are issued through the RBI. The T-bills represent zero risk instrument. They are issued with the tenure of 91 days, 182 days, or 364 days. Due to risk-free nature, banks cooperate, and many such institutions buy the T-bills and lend to the government as a part of its short-term borrowing program. Second among this participants list is public sector undertakings, which are the government companies who have their shares listed on the stock exchange. As listed companies, they can issue commercial paper in order to obtain its working capital finance. The PSUs are Only borrowers in the money market. They seldom lend their surplus due to bureaucratic mindset. The treasury operations of PSUs are very inefficient and with huge cash surplus remaining idle for a long period of time with them. Then we have insurance companies. Both general and life insurance companies are usual lenders in the money market, being cash surplus entities. They do not borrow in the money market. With the introduction of CBLO, that is collateralized borrowing and lending obligations, they have become a big investor. They have become big investors in between capital market instruments and money market instruments. Insurance companies invest more in capital market instruments as their lending programs are for very long period. Their role in the money market is a little less. Then let's have a look at mutual funds. Mutual funds offer varieties of schemes for the different investment objectives of the public. There are many schemes known as money market mutual fund schemes or liquid schemes. These schemes have the investment objectives of investing in money market instruments. They ensure highest liquidity to the investor by offering withdrawal by way of a day's notice or encashment of units through banks, ATMs, etc. Naturally, mutual fund invest the corpus of such schemes only in money market. They do not borrow but only lend or invest in money market. Banks, scheduled commercial banks are very big borrowers and lenders in the money market. They borrow and lend in call money market, short notice market, repo and reverse repo market. They borrow in the discounting market from RBI and IDBI. They lend in commercial paper markets by way of buying the commercial paper issued by corporates and listed public sector units. They also borrow through issues of certificate of deposit to corporates. And then the last among this is corporates. Corporates borrow by issuing commercial papers which are nothing but short-term promissory notes. They are issued by listed companies for obtaining the necessary credit after obtaining the necessary credit rating from the agencies. They also lend in the CBLO market their temporary surplus when the interest rate rules are very high. In the market, they are the lender to the banks when they buy the certificate of deposits issued by the banks. In addition, they are lenders through purchase of treasury bills. There are many other small players like non-banking financial companies, primary dealers, provident funds, and pension funds. They mainly invest and borrow in the market through CBLO in a small way. The Indian money market, though, has grown over the last few decades, but it also has its own set of problems. And if these problems are addressed, it is expected that it will grow multifold. So, what are these problems? Let us have a look at that. A well-developed money market is necessary precondition for effective implementation of monetary policy. The central bank controls and regulates the money supply in country through money market, but unfortunately, Indian money market is inadequately developed, loosely organized, and suffers from many weaknesses. First among them is dichotomy between organized and unorganized sectors. The most important defect of the Indian money market is its division into two sectors. There is little contract with coordination and cooperation between the two sectors. In such conditions, it is difficult for RBI to ensure uniform and effective implementation of its monetary policy in both the sectors. Second is the predominance of unorganized sector. Another important defect of the Indian money market is its predominance of unorganized sector. The indigenous bankers occupy a significant position in the money lending business in the rural areas. In this unorganized sector, no clear-cut distinction is made between short-term and long-term and between purposes of loan. The indigenous bankers, which constitute a large portion of the money market, remain outside the organized sector. Therefore, they seriously restrict the Reserve Bank's control over money market. Next is wasteful competition. Wasteful competition exists not only between the organized and unorganized sector, but also among the members of the two sectors. The relation between various segments of the money market is not cordial. They are loosely connected with each other and generally follow separatist tendencies. For example, even today, State Bank of India and other commercial banks look down upon each other as rivals. Similarly, competition exists between Indian commercial banks and foreign banks. Next is absence of all India money market. Indian money market has not been organized into a single integrated all Indian money market. It is divided into a small segment mostly catering to the local financial needs. For example, there is little contact between money markets in bigger cities like Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta and those in smaller towns. Then inadequate banking facilities. Indian money market is inadequate to meet the financial need of the economy, although there has been rapid expansion of bank branches in recent years, particularly after nationalization of banks. Yet vast rural areas still exist without banking facilities. As compared to the size of the population of the country, the banking institutions are not enough. Then shortage of capital. Indian money market generally suffers from shortage of capital. Funds, the availability of capital in money market is insufficient to meet the need of industry and trade on the country. The main reasons for the shortage of capital are a low saving capacity of the people, inadequate banking facility, particularly in rural areas, and see the underdeveloped or undeveloped banking habits among the people. Then there is seasonal shortage of funds. A major drawback of Indian money market is seasonal stringency of credit and higher interest rates during a part of the year. Such a shortage invariably appears during the busy months from November to June, when there is excess demand for credit for carrying on the harvesting and marketing operations in the agriculture. As a result, interest rates rise in this period. On the contrary, during the slack season from July to October, the demand of credit and rate of interest declines sharply. Then diversity of interest rates. Another defect of Indian money market is the multiplicity and disparity of the interest rates. In 1931, Central Banking Duty Committee wrote the fact that a call rate of 3 by 4%, a hundi rate of 3%, a bank rate of 4%, a bazaar rate of small traders 6.25%, and a Calcutta bazaar rate for bills of small traders of 10% exist simultaneously indicates an extraordinary sluggishness of the movement of credit between various markets. The interest rate also suffers in various central, like Bombay, Calcutta, etc. Variation in the interest rate structure are largely due to credit immobility because of inadequate, costly, and time-consuming means of transferring money. Disparities in interest rate adversely affect the smooth and effective functioning of the money market. And the last is the absence of bill market. The existence of well-organized bill market is essential for proper and efficient working of money market. Unfortunately, and in spite of serious effort made by the RBI, the bill market in India has not yet been fully developed. The short-term bills form a much smaller proportion of bank finance in India as compared to that in advanced countries. Over the years, there have been a number of suggestions to bring reforms in Indian money market. These are number one, that the activities of indigenous banks should be brought under the effective control of Reserve Bank of India. Second, the hundis used in money market should be standardized. They shall be written in the uniform manner in order to develop an all-India money market. Then banking facilities should be expanded, especially in unbanked and neglected areas. Then discounting and rediscounting facilities should be expanded in a big way to develop the bill market in the country. And for raising the efficiency of the money market, the number of clearing houses in this country should be increased and their working should be improved. Then adequate and less costly remittance facilities should be provided to the businessmen to increase the mobility of capital. And also the variation of interest rates should be reduced. Hope you have been benefited from this video lecture. The references in the video have been taken from two books, that is Indian Financial System, Markets, Institutions and Services, published by Pearson, written by Mr. B.V. Pathak. Then we have this book from Dr. L.M. Bhole and J. Makun, Financial Institutions and Markets, published by Tata McGraw-Hill Edition, Education, New Delhi. Then there is a legal disclaimer to this intent content, that the video content is created only for the purpose of teaching, and the author and the creator of the video content do not claim any copyright or other such proprietary claims on the content, including videos, audios, or text. A sincere attempt has been made to list and credit all references used for the organization and development of the content. Creator of the content do not take any responsibility for any oversight or omission on the list. Thank you so much.